welcome back to another video. Today we got Candace Owens and Nick Fuentes interview. I'm gonna hop right into this because a lot of people told me to watch this. Not a lot of people, but a decent amount of people told me to look into this from TikTok. And I said, why don't I do a reaction to it on YouTube? That's what I do. Anyways, let's hop right into it. No time to waste. Boom. Boom.
I also don't appreciate the lecture. You don't know me, you know, so I know you're married. I know you're older than me, but you don't know me, you don't know my life, you don't know my situation. I don't think you're in a position to give me advice, especially as a woman, honestly.
What is your dating life?
I don't have a dating life.
So you don't date?
No.
Do you have a perspective about who you want to marry? Do you intend to get married?
I do intend to get married and have kids.
So where are you at on that?
I'm trying to get prepared for that mentally.
What does that mean? You're 26 years old.
I like my life. I like being single. I like being a guy. I like what I like. I like reading books. I like doing my show. I'm a pretty antisocial person. And it's a big adjustment for a man to go from having a life where you can do whatever you want, go wherever you want, unaccountable, you know, everything like that, to then you have to be roommates with women and children. It's a totally different lifestyle. And for someone like myself, I'm a pretty eccentric and you know, kind of out there person. I don't have a regular sleep schedule. I'm awake all night, I'm asleep all day. You know, my sleep schedule's moving around all the time. I like to go out on drives all the time. The idea of, like, you know, my wife sending me out the door, okay, be home by 10, you know, call me and tell me where you're going, or, you know, I go on a trip, I gotta get the car seats and buy all the plane tickets and stuff like that. You know, it's kind of cramping my style, so I'm trying to get over that, I guess. But that's maturing.
Yeah, I think you should probably...
That's actually very interesting because I have children. And as of recently, it's been... because the school year makes it more complicated. I don't want to say too much, but the school year makes it more complicated. Like, because they live so far away. And I only get to see them for certain periods of time throughout the week through the school year. But I get to see them on the weekends when they come over. But here's the thing, though. I noticed... you do have more free time when you have the ability to be out by yourself and do what you need to do, and there's a lot more that you can actually get done. You know, there is. You know, there is. So, you know, me and her splitting up, that's another thing. Like, I think, like, men really need to think about, and women need to think about before hopping into relationships. And I'm going on a tangent to something else that he's saying. I'm glad that he has the maturity to understand that hopping into a relationship requires a lot more demand from you as the man, and if you guys split up, it's going to be a lot more demand too, and it's going to be a lot more complicated for the kids because, you know, anyways, it's neither here nor there. But I respect what he just said. I didn't see nothing wrong with what he was just saying, but I definitely don't like the fact that he didn't want to hear what Candace had to say. Candace should be able to... Candace is so pretty, but she should be able to critique you. You're in the media. Like, that's the consequence of being in the media. You get critiqued, fuck. The fuck? Like, you get a critique. Yeah, let's go.
Totally mature on that point. I mean, what?
Yeah, I know. You gotta tell me, I know.
I want to go for drives. Like, that would be something. I mean, if you are... Do you attend the Mass?
I do.
Like, do you go every Sunday?
I do, yeah.
Okay, so you're like a committed Catholic, then obviously, like, you know, the perspectives on family. I mean, I personally, and this would be me lecturing, but I just feel like you really have no idea who you are until you start a family. And whether that means just marriage, some people who are struggling to have children, okay, fine. But there's such a growth that happens because of that I think it informs your beliefs in so many ways. And I think that was a huge turning point for me. Like, I wonder if I had been pressed with everything that happened last year, if I didn't have, like, the unshaken faith in my family, what would I have done? And sometimes when I see the things that you say, I do think, okay, he doesn't take into account family. It's just Nick. Nick is in his own world, which can be, I think, a quite selfish perspective, which is fine. That's what you're saying. You like being selfish is another way to say what you just said. I like being selfish and I don't want to give of myself to somebody else. But
well, I also think there's something selfless involved, which is to say, I could go and start a family and drag them into a world of mine, which is pretty chaotic. You know, I mean, is this really the kind of a lifestyle? If I'm banned on everything and I can't make a living, I'm banned from banking, I'm banned from credit card processing, I'm getting doxxed, people are showing up to my house trying to kill me, things like that. And what's more, I mean, let's also, you know, I also don't appreciate the lecture. You don't know me, you know, so I know you're married, I know you're older than me, but you don't know me, you don't know my life, you don't know my situation. I don't think you're in a position to give me advice, especially as a woman, honestly. I don't think women, this is something in the right wing, we say we're anti-feminist, and then women go around telling men what to do. We're not their husbands. And, I don't really buy into that ideal.
What? You shouldn't be able to critique me because you are a woman is exactly what he said. And they're anti-feminist, so they don't believe that a woman should be able to critique them. That's what he just said. Oof. That's pretty deep. That's a pretty deep thing to say out loud. But I mean, he speaks his mind. Nick Fuentes is what we got to pay attention to because this is how they think. So don't ignore what he's saying. Pay attention.
Logically, but that's besides the point. My life has been tumultuous from the very beginning. From the time I turned 18, people were coming for my neck and trying to get me, and I was kicked out of college. And then, once you're branded as an anti-Semite, before it became cool or popular, can't get a job, can't make a living, get banned from PayPal, all this kind of stuff. That's a very difficult environment to try to have a dating life. What do? I go out on Tinder, I go to a bar, and I say, hey, I'm a neo-Nazi Nick Fuentes that the ADL is writing articles about every day. I'm going to start a dating profile on Tinder. People are going to screenshot that, mess with me in all kinds of ways. It's a very difficult predicament, actually, for me because I took on basically a huge sacrifice at the beginning, and I don't know that you really appreciate that enough.
I don't know him, and I like, and if all the things that he's saying is true, and that he's losing out on all these opportunities because people think that he's a certain way, and maybe some of the things he says has led people to think that he's a certain way. I don't know him, but he's driving a really good point. Once you stand for something, somewhat, you become the sacrificial lamb. And by becoming the sacrificial lamb sometimes for people who really want to say what you really want to say, you end up costing yourself a personal life. The personal life is gone after that. That's what a part of me fears, right? Like, I understand that I have the ability to move mountains and talk to many people. I have the ability to reach so many different people. I know that, but I also know the consequences of doing that. Like, it could cost you your life, like Charlie Kirk. To be honest, like, Charlie Kirk was stating things that he believed. And I don't think it should have cost him his life, but it did cost him his life. And that's the consequence you pay for trying to lead people and get people to understand something. But let's keep going. I kind of like what he's saying right now. I don't have a problem with this guy. If he is a neo-Nazi, then I like what he's saying right now. Like, I don't know anything else about this guy, so just keep that in mind. I like what he's saying right now. I don't know the guy personally, so shut the fuck up and don't be sitting in the comments talking shit. I don't know the guy. Let's go.
You're somebody who, you had a career in politics for as long as I was fighting a battle. You were at Daily Wire with a contract. You're at Turning Point. You're making good money. You're doing book deals. You're part of this thing that I'm criticizing and paying a very heavy price for at a time when no one's saying those things, when it's very unpopular. And it's not to say that I'm a victim, because I did it willingly and I love it and I would do it again. But it is to say that, you and I have lived very different lives. And, it's easy, I think, for you to say, you had your husband, have your kids, you got your ducks in a row, made quite a bit of money, then you discovered the truth, and then you went out on a limb. And it's not to say you didn't make sacrifices and it wasn't a risk, and it paid off. You're doing great now, and I congratulate you. But with me, there was no calculation. I mean, I almost want to say, I was 17. What's your excuse? I was 17 and I woke up, and I went balls to the wall, bucket of ice cold water, as you say. I made a lot of enemies, and maybe that wasn't wise, but I told the truth, and I took on an extremely heavy cost for my personal life. It basically has made it so that I can't have a personal life. I don't even have many friends. Forget about, dating women. I can't even really have a lot of male friends because there's such an incentive to betray me, to turn your back on me, because there are people that are being paid to attack me all the time on Twitter for information about me, things like that. So, it's something like everything else that I'm figuring out one step at a time, just like my show. And, when I get banned from something, whether or not I'll be able to have a family and kids and what that'll look like. But I mean, it's a little more complicated, I think, than maybe you understand.
I feel like you just got super triggered by me just saying something so casual. What was that about?
See, I don't appreciate
you're a woman, but you're a woman. I was just having a conversation with you, just being like, hey, you there's a lot of growth that comes from when you start a family. Like, that's like a
because he doesn't like women.
Cool thing to do, and I feel like you got pretty triggered there and got like. little
He
upset.
did.
I don't know what I did.
He got
there.
triggered.
I don't like that you say triggered.
But you were a little bit.
I'm being candid. I'm being candid with you. And,
But saying, "Oh, a woman just," it's like okay.
You're talking about my personal life. You're talking about my personal.
Yeah, we're
life.
having a conversation. I talk to tons of people about their personal lives. Like, why do you feel like this is? That wasn't a line of attack, Nick.
I know it wasn't a line.
So why do you kind of responded like you were just attacked?
Candace, you brought a Nazi into your house. What do you expect? Like, he doesn't like, I'm just playing. I don't know if he's, that's what he said. People call him a Nazi. I don't know if he's really a Nazi or not. I'll look into some more about him, but I mean, yeah, of course he's triggered. Of course he's going to be triggered because like everything he just said, I kind of heard what he said. Like, so like he made a lot of sacrifices for what he personally believed. Whether it's true or not, he still made the sacrifices, and those things cost him personal relationships. So to say like, you know, you feel like he should be searching for that and he's immature because he's not searching for those kind of things, it's kind of discrediting everything that he just said when it came to that. And that probably did trigger him to some degree, you know? So, I mean, I understand where he was coming from. Don't shoot me in my leg for not knowing everything. I don't know everything about him. I'll definitely do some more video reactions on him if you guys like the video. But anyways, I'm out. Peace.